My name is Nuri Lizarraga Gonzalez and I will talk about the Cold War. What is a Cold War? The Cold War is a name given to the relationship that developed primarily between the USA and the USSR after World War II. The Cold War was to dominate international affairs for decades and many major crises occurred. It was an ongoing political rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union and their respective allies. It was a clash of very different beliefs and ideology, which were capitalism versus communism. Nevertheless, there was a very little use of weapons on battlefields during the Cold War. It was waged mainly on political, economic, and propaganda fronts and lasted until 1991. The second point I will talk about are the important dates. Firstly, on February 4th in 1945, the Yalta Conference was carried out, which was a meeting to decide what would happen at the end of the war. Then, on June 25th of 1950, the Korean War began and it ended on July 27 in 1953. After that, in 1954, the Geneva Accords were signed up, which caused the division of Vietnam into North Communist and South Capitalism. Later, on US launched Apollo 8 on December 21st, which was the first manned orbit on the moon. Finally, on December 1991, Russia formally recognized the end of the Soviet Union. Additionally, I will mention what the term Cold War refers to. It refers to a state of political hostility between countries characterized by threats, propaganda, and other measures, short of open warfare. It is called this way because in a hot war, nuclear weapons might destroy everything. Another essential point are the economic systems, which were capitalism and socialism. They were the complete opposite. Capitalism is an economic system in which private actors own and control property in accord with their interests, and demand and supply freely, set prices in markets in a way that can serve the best interests of society. It was first proposed by Adam Smith. On the other side, socialism was first proposed by Karl Marx and Engels. It refers to a populist economic and political system based on public ownership, also known as collective or common ownership, of the means of production. Those means include the machinery, tools, and factories used to produce goods and aim to directly satisfy human needs. To continue, I will add the interviews I made. The first interview was to my aunt, who is 49 years old, and her name is Emilia. What countries were the world leaders during this period?
The world leaders were the United States and the Soviet Union.
Why did who were allies during the wars become enemies afterwards?
Because communists and Western capitalists distrusted each other. Because they were the last two real superpowers left after the Second World War, so they were competing to become more powerful than one another.
Where did the Cold War take place?
It took place almost everywhere on the globe, however, it wasn't a war directly and physically fought. The only place the Cold War was physically manifested was Korea.
What opinion did the general public have of the Cold War?
Most people believed that capitalism was the best option for society, but this was a period of fear because it lasted long and we were all expecting a bomb to drop or something.
What type of weapons did the two world powers have at their disposal?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the names, but I know for a fact that these kind of weapons were used to threaten each country. So I assume that it was mainly nuclear weapons. They were afraid of fighting each other directly because the nuclear weapons might destroy everything.
The second interview was made to my mom, but is in Spanish. ¿Qué países dominaban el mundo en ese periodo?
Estados Unidos y Rusia.
¿Por qué los países que eran aliados durante esas guerras se volvieron enemigos después de ellas?
porque siempre había habido rivalidad y solo eran aliados para vencer a un enemigo en común.
¿Dónde dio lugar la Guerra Fría?
Fue una guerra que involucró a muchos países, así que todo el mundo,
¿Qué opinión tenía la gente sobre la Guerra Fría?
como no había muchos medios de comunicación, la gente no se enteraba a fondo de lo que pasaba, por lo que no tenían una opinión fija.
¿Qué tipo de armas tenían estas superpotencias a su disposición?
Armas nucleares, por eso fue una guerra basada en amenazas.
To close up, I will add my opinion. I found this topic very interesting because I never thought that a war could be fought without weapons, and I think that this shows us that the world shouldn't be taking wars because with the weapons and technology we have nowadays, the result will be catastrophic. But like I say, this is a very interesting and important event. Now, when it comes to the economic systems, I strongly believe that each country should be capable and free of making the decision that they think is the best, but without getting other countries involved. But I do support capitalism because thanks to it, we have everything I have nowadays.